how do you approach, like, ethics is always a big conversation. How do you even begin to think about it?
Yeah, so the studies with the brain tissue and brain organoids, they really touch these ethical concerns. And I think the major concerns that people see is what if those brains start to become self-aware and have some level of consciousness, right? How should we treat them? Should we treat them as a person? Should we treat them as a research animal? Or should we give them like a different moral status? I think eventually these organoids are becoming more and more complex, that I think is going to be inevitable for them to reach some level of consciousness or even self-aware. But I don't think they deserve the same moral status as a person. So we have to agree in there, what to do with them. And that's why we do this research in collaboration with the ethicists and philosophers of the mind. So we are always in constant check. Where is this technology? Should we discuss this more? Should we bring more input from society? So I'm doing this every 2 years. I organize like a meeting where we discuss those things. And right now, I don't think we have to worry about it because they're not in that level of reaching self-consciousness. But it might be in the future. And then we'll have to agree on how do we work with them. Because I think most people agree that this is a very important research tool that can help us to create new treatments for millions of people that suffer from neurological conditions, psychiatric disorders, things like that. So the benefit to humanity is very clear. Any lay person will agree with that. But then, we have these the ethical concerns. How should we deal with that? And there is no clear answer right now. So this is something that is not in the philosophy books. I talk to my friends that are philosophers of the mind. They have been studying the human mind for a while, animal minds, things like that. And when I talk about the brain organoids, they pause and they said, well, we never thought about that. So this is, we're bringing something new to the philosophy books as well.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of hard problems in there. The first being we don't even have a great definition for consciousness.
Yeah,
we don't even know a whole lot about it. But I could definitely see how you could be making maybe blood cells or pancreas cells, and people don't have that concern. But the moment you go into a brain, which we imagine, is where consciousness is coming from, that starts to raise those. But for me personally, where I'm at with my ethics stuff, for the little bit that I know about this, is I'm an explorer, man. I'm an adventurer. And a lot of these things, like if you look at the federal government, with like things like seatbelts and car safety ratings, these things happen in hindsight, right? First you get the car, then the accidents start happening, then you figure out how to mitigate the accidents. And that tends to be how things flow. So there is a whole entire camp of people that will say, we shouldn't be playing God. We shouldn't even go over there. We shouldn't even be doing that. I'm not in that camp. I'm in the camp of let's push the boundaries of what's possible. And then, in my experience, people like you and these people that are pushing the boundaries, they're moral people. And if they start to see something that's like not right, they're going to start bringing it up to their peers. And we all know scientists and how they rip each other apart.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any like conspiratorial aspect to it. But, then you figure it out. Like if you are working in your lab next week and you start noticing, like you have a brain computer interface hooked up to one of these organoids, and all of a sudden like text or speech starts coming out of it, and they're talking to you like, hey, Dr. So-and-so, like, what's going on, Allison? You're going to be like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
We need to have a conversation about this with some other peers and figure out what we do about this,
To be honest, history, science history has shown the same things. Blood transfusion, you can imagine like many people didn't want to receive blood from other people, even when they are super sick. But then, you start showing that, well, this can save your life. And then, your concern kind of reduces. Organ transplantation. There was a resistance in the beginning. Oh, I don't want like a heart or a tissue from another dead person in me. Well, I mean, I don't think people who needs now think that way, and that help us to really move forward with the technology. So the resistance is normal for something new, for something that people are not used to. But as soon as you start proving that it's useful and it's saving lives, yeah, then I think the tendency is that to put aside any of these concerns.